The game space that we will be working on today is the unsubscribe from 5 game space. And that's right here. We're going to go to the instructions and take a look at what we're going to talk about in the unsubscribe from 5. Here we are. So your unsubscribing is an ongoing process necessary for maintaining a healthy email inbox. This is something that you're never going to be done unsubscribing because we get subscribed to new lists all the time. And sometimes we want newsletters, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we buy something and we get put on a list. Sometimes we magically get put on a list. There's a lot of factors that determine whether or not we um, are on a new email list and whether or not it is filling up our inbox. So, one of the first things that I do when I'm working with someone is we go through and clear out their inbox and go through this unsubscribe process. And that's what I'm going to demonstrate today. And I have a very systemized way of doing that. First off, we're going to go into the actual inbox and we're going to look at what's there in the way of newsletters. And there you're going to find that there are 3 types of newsletters. There's the anticipated newsletter. This is the newsletter that you actually want to get and see in your inbox. Next level is the useful newsletter. And those are the ones that you kind of enjoy them, but if you miss one, it's really not that big of a deal. You might want to read them later. You might want to, you might not want to. It doesn't really matter, but you like them. And then next is just the cluttery ones. And these are ones that you don't read, you don't enjoy, or they irritate you when they clutter your inbox. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at a couple inboxes. These are my test inbox. I have both the Outlook inbox as well as a Gmail inbox filled with all kinds of nonsense. So this is the Outlook inbox, and we're going to just sort of scroll here and try to identify some of these types of newsletters. So let's take a look here through this one. Let's say we've got our email newsletter from Nikki Rausch. We may want to keep this newsletter. This might be our favorite newsletter to get. And so we wouldn't want to necessarily unsubscribe from this one. We also go, maybe this Apple News, maybe this is one that we really like getting, but we don't need to see it in the inbox because we're busy. Maybe the same is true for WebMD. Let's say that Ann Taylor is one that we're like, we don't even need to get this. We bought our little Ann Taylor blouse. It was super great, but we don't need to get their emails because we know all about them. And we just go visit the store if we want to, or we go online if we want to and order what we want. So we're going to go through the process of unsubscribing from our Ann Taylor email here. There's a couple ways that you can unsubscribe. Here in Outlook, the best way, most reliable way of unsubscribing from any email newsletter is to scroll to the bottom and look for that unsubscribe link. It's usually super tiny and almost invisible. And here, this one here, it says, please click here to unsubscribe. And notice my little hand that appears as I'm clicking around on the screen. That's the link. It's not here where it says unsubscribe. That's just one of the little uppy downy liney things. Here we've got the little hand, so that shows that that's where the actual link is for unsubscribing. Now, Ann Taylor is a legitimate company, so we can trust the unsubscribe. We're not going to block this or mark it as spam because it really is actually a newsletter. And this will take me to their unsubscribe page. Now, in theory, they know what email address I subscribed with, and they may or may not be right. This is one reason that you might not get unsubscribed. So we're going to look here. If we subscribe to this newsletter using, so here, this is going to Tessa at 5 a.m. Coffee. This is the email address that's subscribed to this newsletter because I check several on the same account. And some of you may do that. Some of you may not. Some of you may only have one email address. So in theory, it's programmed to know what email address I unsubscribed or I subscribed. If it asks for your email address, you can generally type it in and let it know, okay, unsubscribe me from this email. Don't send to this email anymore. And so here on Taylor, it's nice and tidy, pretty cool. We can downgrade our subscription and get just one email a week, or we can unsubscribe from all the Taylors. Let's unsubscribe from all. And they want to know why. You don't have to tell them, but they like to know. I'm just going to say it's no longer relevant and hit submit. That is the official unsubscribe process. And most email accounts have an unsubscribe process like this one or very similar. Let's take a look now at how this works in Gmail. So in Gmail, we're going to our unsubscribe and we're going to decide that we no longer want this food and fitness email. And we're going to scroll down to the bottom and we're going to see if we can find the unsubscribe link. So here we're going to hover around and oh, this one's a little bit more prominent here. Right here, we've got this unsubscribe link. We'll go ahead and click it with our little hand and it takes us to the unsubscribe form. Here, it tells me what email I am being unsubscribed from. I like this. This is really neat and tidy. And here it can remove just my food and fitness, or it can remove all of my WebMD subscriptions. Oh, I think I really want to do this because if you've noticed, you may unsubscribe from something and then you get more emails from them, or it seems that way. Often this is why. If I were to just remove the food and fitness subscription from my subscription, I would still get the ones about maybe diabetes or emotional health or whatever things WebMD wants to offer me. But I'm going to go ahead and say, remove me from everything. That should work. So I'm going to hit submit. And here it says, thank you very much, you've been removed. It may take a while to completely remove me. Usually it's pretty immediate. Now, one other thing, this is a little trick that I like to tell people, especially those who, when I'm helping someone clean out their inbox, they're like, I don't want to go through the unsubscribe process because I'll just get more emails. They don't ever listen to me. I've unsubscribed a bazillion times. So if you feel like you've unsubscribed a bazillion times, this little trick is what I like to recommend for my people. I want you to create a folder and we're going to call it unsubscribed. So here I'm going to click this little move to. I could click move to or I could click label in while I'm in Gmail. I'm going to click move to and I'm going to create a new label. And we're going to call this new label unsubscribed. Unsubscribed. And I'm gonna, and because I chose the move to create this label, it's going to create the label, create the folder, and move this email into it. So I'll hit create, and there it goes. So now you see I have this unsubscribed down here. When I go to it, it's got that food and fitness email in there. So I know I went through the process of unsubscribing. So if they send me another email in, within or after 10 days, then I know it's like I unsubscribe from you people. And then I can take more drastic measures if necessary. And so you can do that with some of these other emails that you have received. So let's say we can go ahead and this we'll do this Jonathan one. I click on this here from Excel events and scroll down and we're going to unsubscribe. And here they're saying, go ahead, you are unsubscribing. This one is a little bit lame, but it should have worked. And we say no more calls, no more texts, we're breaking up. That's a little dramatic for my taste, but whatever. We go through their process and we're going to close that tab. It takes us back to our inbox. And here we can go ahead and move this particular email to our unsubscribe folder that we created. Now we have unsubscribed now from 2 emails. And these are emails that were like, I don't really like these emails. I don't want any of them in my system. So we might want to do a search for all of the emails from this account and get rid of them, just delete them all. So to do that in Gmail, we're going to hit this little more and we're going to filter messages like these. Now this filter feature is super cool with Gmail. I love how they do it because I clicked those little 3 dots, that ellipses, and it brought up this and chose filter messages like these, and it brought up this box. It put the list in here. Now I can choose to go through the process and create a filter and click that, and it'll give me another box where I can do all kinds of cool things with it. And that's super great. And I will do that with another email further on in this little show here. But for the moment, all I want is to have found all of the messages that it discovered in the search. So this box has come up. This list is in my search field in Google. And now I'm going to just sort of click elsewhere and make that box go away. So now the box has gone away, but I have all of these emails that it found. Now it found my unsubscribed email here. That one there is the one that I've got in my unsubscribe label. So I'm going to click all of these emails. And I can choose to select all the messages that match this search if I want to get rid of everything. But I also want to keep this one that I marked unsubscribed, and I want to delete the rest. So I'm unchecking this one because I want to keep that record of the fact that I unsubscribed from this, and delete the rest of them. And so it deleted about 50 and moved these to the top. And I can just keep doing that until they're all deleted. If I'm like, screw it, I really don't care if I have a record, you can select all that matches from this search, and it will delete all of the emails in your system that are coming from this list. It will also delete this unsubscribed one. If you uncheck this unsubscribe, it'll go back to the just 50 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all and make them go away. Now, if you have an oh crap moment, I really did want to keep this unsubscribed guy, you can go into your trash and find it again in here. So here, if we go back into trash, we can find it again. And see here, it still has that label. If I were to go and empty the trash now, it would be gone forever. But since I want to kind of keep this one, I'm going to go ahead and restore it. I'm going to just drag it back over to that unsubscribe. And there we've taken it out of the trash can and put it in there. Now I can just empty my trash and they're all gone forever. So it's that two-step process for deleting things. You delete it in your inbox, and then you can delete the whole thing. So we're going to go back to the inbox, and we're going to do a similar thing over here in Outlook. So we can create a folder called unsubscribe, and I'm going to just do that proactively. And you do that with a selecting and right click. When you right click, it'll give you a create new subfolder, and we're going to call this unsubscribe. Unsubscribed, and that's how you would create any sort of folder. And here we're going to go ahead and we're going to unsubscribe. We're going to click this Reddit one. Now Reddit is a social media thing. And so in some cases with social media, like say Facebook or Pinterest or LinkedIn, you may need to go to that account and go look for notifications to get less emails from them. But sometimes you have a nice tidy unsubscribe. So if you have one, use it. So we're going to hit unsubscribe, and here it says emails unsubscribes. Here we can undo our unsubscribing, which we don't want to. It will just unsubscribe from that particular type of email. So if I wanted to unsubscribe from the other ones, I'd have to go to my notification settings in Reddit. This happens on occasion, but we're not going to worry about that too much. We're also going to, in Outlook, we want to do that search again to find all of the other ones. And we're going to click sweep. And this is a very cool thing that's just in Outlook. We hit sweep. We can move all of the messages from the inbox folder that are from Reddit. We can choose to delete them, or we could choose to archive them, or we could choose to put them in some other folder. I'm just going to go ahead and keep them deleted, and we're going to take all the messages from this inbox folder and delete them. I could also keep the latest message and move the rest in the inbox folder. That seems like more fun. Let's do that. And okie dokie. And it says success. You will now only see the latest message from this sender you specified. And they're working on cleaning up my inbox. So that's super great. So I'm only going to have the most recent Reddit email, which I have right here. And I unsubscribed from it. So I'm going to go ahead and click it. And I'm going to move it to a new folder, oh, not a new folder, a different folder, and I'm going to choose unsubscribe. I could also drag it to this unsubscribe. Both ways will work. Goes out of my inbox into that unsubscribe. So now I have a record of the things I unsubscribed. So that's our quick little tutorial on dealing with a little bit of filters and a little bit of um, unsubscribe, unsubscribe processes. So let's take a look again at our instructions here on the Luxcentric game space for unsubscribe from 5. Here we have we can go through unsubscribe from all those cluttery emails. We can create filters for the useful ones. Let's say that we want to have all of the emails that we really want to get. We can create a new subfolder, create a new folder to read. And create a to read folder. And we can go ahead and say, okay, I want to put these very important emails. I want them to always move all messages from this inbox over to a different folder. I want them to always go to the to read folder. And so I'll say okie dokie. So now anytime I ever get a message from that sender, it'll just automatically pop into my to read folder and it will not bother my inbox. So I haven't lost it. I still have access. And here it tells me I have 78 emails that I want to read. But I don't care. I can decide to read them or not. They're not going to clutter my way. Same thing in Outlook. If we go to, not Outlook, if we go to Gmail, we can also move the folders or move the emails from there. Let's say we want to do that same with the Nikki Roush email. We select it, hit the three little dots, filter messages like these, and there it will go find them all. The thing I like about Google is it shows you what it's going to choose. And we're going to create a filter. And this time we're going to have to do a couple little more things in Google than we had to do in Outlook. Is we will skip the inbox. We're going to apply the label. And I can create a new label here, or I can choose one that I already have. So let's go ahead and create a to read folder. And create. Now this is a fun thing here. If I were to just hit create filter, it would only filter the email I chose, only the selected email, not all this mess of stuff. So I want to make sure that I apply the filter to all the matching messages. So it will take all these historical emails and put them in this to read label. So we're going to go ahead and click create filter. And there it goes. All of these emails will now go into the to read folder. And it's thinking, thinking, thinking very, very, very hard. And there they all are. And they've come out of our inbox. So we've gotten our inbox down a little bit, and there are definitely other techniques to lower the rate of your refill, but unsubscribing is probably the most important way of keeping the amount of emails coming in from overwhelming you. Well, that is it for this game space. If you go visit this, you'll get instructions on getting off lists and automating your emails with filters. In the game space, you can download the game board from luxcentric.com/game. Thank you all for joining me, and until next time, I will see you all about the internet.